Welcome to Mic'd and Medicated.
And this is our first rodeo.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
Welcome to Mic'd and Medicated, second episode and still our first rodeo. We would like to thank everyone tuning in today. We actually launched our first episode this morning and we are feeling the love. So we are so incredibly grateful to everyone who's been posting, DMing us. It feels really good.
I've always been a fan of positive reinforcement. I love it, but it definitely felt different this time. I think when you post something on Instagram and you get a like and you get that little dopamine hit, sometimes you're curating that post or it's a filter, but our podcast was really what we said it was, and it was raw and real. So being appreciated for that felt really good. It was sort of like being naked in our like surgery room where the lights are horrible and like you're with a guy who's like staring at you naked and can see every little dimple and scratch. And they're like, "You're hot." And you're like, "Really?"
I have to say, I could not. That analogy is perfect. I felt naked. I felt naked when we went live. I had this weird, like when you go down a roller coaster and all of a sudden your stomach drops. So you're like partly excited and exhilarated and partly like, holy shit, why did I get on this ride? But I will say positive reinforcement. It's not just for children.
No, it's not. And so what we also want this to be about is not just us deciding the topics, but wanting to know what you guys want to hear. So you feel part of this conversation. And surprisingly, you guys want to know more about us, which is crazy because I didn't think we were that interesting, but
Who knew?
I guess we are. So topic number 2 is 1, 2, 3.
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you, getting to like you, I hope.
Or not, just so we can have viewership.
Right. I mean, for those of you who are supporting us, keep doing it. And for all those haters out there, you know who you are. You may be eye rolling right now, but we don't care. We need the listeners and we hope we win you over. And if and when we do, it's all love, baby. We are a very forgiving crew.
We love it. I'm going to call you guys hate listeners because I do that on Instagram. I hate follow.
What's that?
It's when I absolutely can't commit to following a certain influencer because it's against my value system, but I'm so curious. So I hate follow. I'll search and look and judge.
I love that.
And that's sort of what I feel like we're going to have. And that's great. Just don't leave us a 1-star or a shitty comment.
Right. I know this sounds crazy. I sometimes feel like I hate follow my children.
That's really fucked up. That's very unfair.
I don't want to know what's going on. I trust you. And then I'm like, Doug, you have Life 360. Make sure he's where he says he is. No, but truly, this will be another episode. I don't believe in Life 360. I'm sure I have surprised a lot of people.
I don't have nanny cams, so I'm kind of like that.
Yeah, okay. I think that's really funny that we equate those things these days. But yes, that'll be a whole nother episode. Let's stick to who we are because people want to know.
Guess so.
It's kind of awkward to talk about yourself.
I know. It is weird. So I do love talking about myself, but it is weird to describe myself.
Well, maybe we'll flip it. Maybe I'll tell you what I think you're like, and then you can tell me what you think I'm like.
I'm ready for this.
Actually, it's going to be no surprise because like my first impression of you is exactly who I think you are today.
You mean that I'm batshit crazy? So you and my husband both are in alignment here.
I do love Jeremy. Jeremy, I love you. But no. Let me explain. It's not, batshit crazy. It so nicely encapsulates it. No.
I like that. I'll take batshit crazy.
No, but seriously.
Batshit crazy without rabies.
No, but you are very confident in your skin. You are who you are. You are loud and proud about the things you care about. And you just don't get thrown by what other people are doing. Like you can just somehow shut out the noise and the pressure and just like do you and be happy doing you. And I guess, well, how are you like that? Because I think that's actually a really admirable trait and one of the things that I like about you.
Thank you. I'm loving the likes today. I think I have parents who are pretty filter free, so that was always helpful. But I had an internship at Dior, and I remember I was in my early 20s. There was this gorgeous Czechoslovakian model, and I was helping her pick her looks. And I was like, oh, if I could only be like 5'11" and look like her instead of being like 5'4" and a little Jewish girl. And she was like in this thick accent. She's like, I'm here to make money, like to send to my home and to pay for my school. And she was looking at me like I had it all. Like I lived in New York City.
Right.
I had a family who paid for college. And I said, nobody is given everything. And everybody has what they have. And there's always going to be something that you don't have. And if you focus on what you do, it makes you more appreciative. And you just stay in your own lane.
Right. And I think it's such a trite saying, but the grass is always greener. When I was a kid, I desperately wanted...
I don't think it's always greener, though.
Oh.
That's my whole point.
But that's what makes you you. Whereas I think so many people do feel like the grass is always greener. So I think we've gotten to the heart of Caroline.
Yeah, I guess I don't really care. I don't care. You could have the best damn landscaper, but my grass is really good sometimes.
And by the way, Caroline has a great landscaper, and not one for her summer home, but actually one here in Manhattan for her wall.
I have a plant wall. It was one of the biggest fights that my husband and I had. He didn't understand why someone who has an apartment without a terrace needed a landscaper.
But by the way, we're going to dive into that. I think we should just start dropping these really exciting teases so people will stay with us. Little gems.
Yeah. Or like a little fortune cookie. But you can hold it and smell it, but you can't open it yet.
Right.
So anyway, I think enough about whatever we were just talking about. But I think I should talk about my first impression of you. Because unlike yours, which I guess what you see is what you get with me.
Yes.
You're a little bit more, you've got more layers. You're a little more like an onion.
But hopefully I smell better.
You smell much better.
Back the layers.
And you don't make someone cry. But I really looked at you and I thought, okay, this is some extremely, no offense, uptight, conservative,
no offense taken,
buttoned up, Upper East Side woman who is cobweb vagina, like not ever getting frigid.
Wow.
Frigid. But also
What a word.
amazing.
Okay.
Badass. At the
Okay.
same time, like frigid, but like
Tell me more.
she has it going together. Like 3 kids, seemed very unfazed by managing all of that. Huge job. Head of like the Jewish group at our school. But I saw this like twinkle in your eye of like when I went to that crazy mode, you were like, yes, I like it. Give me more.
Yeah.
You wanted to get there, but you were afraid of people thinking you were in Camp Caroline. You know what I mean? You were like, you saw me like I was.
Well, I'm squarely in Camp Caroline now.
Well, you better be. It's like I was like in Payne Whitney, it's for like people waving.
Is Camp Caroline, and is that the psych ward?
Yes, exactly.
You're fully admitted.
Yes, I'm admitted, and I'm waving to you, and you're like, ah,
But here's the thing. What's so funny is it's such an accurate kind of first impression in the sense that I feel like I was always trying to be that kind of perfect because I wanted to hide what I thought wasn't attractive, which was my authenticity. And thank you all those followers out there, because now I feel a little better about my authentic self.
I mean, your authentic self, that word's so annoying. Like, we're so authentic.
It is
like
actually
Brene
a
Brown.
terrible word.
But what's amazing about you is you put out, I think, what you were aspiring to be, right? Like you actually, I think people look at you and think of this woman that you thought you were
like
never.
I'm put together, even though I don't feel like that.
Well, because I think you are actually more together, but I think you just aspire to something when really what was all there was who you were. Like you didn't need all that other stuff to be incredible. And I think people from this podcast are going to get to know the real you that I think you've been afraid of admitting, because it's awesome. Like I look up to you in so many ways, even though I think you're smaller. You're tinier. But
okay, I have to stop you. I feel like I'm not dead yet, so let's...
Sorry, I'll save your funeral speech for another time.
And we are the Unfiltered, totally, real, messy, and I think that I'm also all that. Or maybe I've totally been delusional and think I'm real and messy, but maybe I'm not.
I think you're real and messy in your head, but you haven't allowed people to see that. And I think we're going to get there. So talking about that, let's talk about your childhood, Eva.
Oh, let's go there.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Chappaqua, New York, which
that sounds really fun.
Okay, I'm just going to say I'm giving props out there for everyone growing up in suburbia. My high school experience was very John Hughes. And I loved it. We partied. We broke into homes when the parents were
let me guess, were you the prom queen?
Actually, I was the prom queen.
Oh my God, that's so annoying.
That's one of my claims to fame. Okay. I wasn't like the prom queens portrayed in John Hughes movies. I was also quite nice and people liked me.
And you're very smart.
Oh, thank you.
And you went to Dartmouth and Harvard Business School.
Thank you. And guess what? I just want to give a plug for TV. Lots of people today don't think their children should be on screens, but I think I might have watched... I probably watched up to 6 hours of TV a day. And
so did I. By the way, TV is the best thing to have ever happened in my childhood, besides my amazing parents who hopefully are listening. I love you. I mean, Danny Tanner was another dad to me from Full House. Gosh. Ross was my first crush. I watched Oprah, Jerry Springer, Montel Williams.
I'm feeling old because I have a different generation. For all of you out there.
Did you watch, like, Cher? I'm just kidding.
Well, no, I had a whole lineup. It was Charlie's Angels, Magnum PI, the A-Team.
What was it? Jeffersons?
Oh, yeah. Moving on up to the east side. Oh, look, I got there.
I watched it too. That was on my Nick at Night. You know what's scary, actually? Nick at Night. No, this is going to blow your mind. So Nick at Night, when I was growing up, was like I Love Lucy and then the Jeffersons, you know? Now it's Friends.
Oh, my God.
How old do you feel?
Wow. Well, Friends we can bond on because I also was a Friends.
Oh, so then if we're going to talk about TV, sorry, I'm obviously my meds are wearing off and I'm a little bit all over the place today.
The best Caroline, post-meds.
Duh. If you were a TV character, I feel like actually this is so good. For everybody who wants to really get to know us, you are Monica and Elaine Bennis from Seinfeld.
Wow,
like,
that is
like
so true, and you're blowing my mind right now.
Like, you look like Monica, it's beautiful, and you're OCD,
nice.
hyper, like a little, like, you know.
But I definitely resonate with Elaine. I feel that.
That's the Elaine in you wants to come out. The Elaine who's like, to hell with you, I don't give a fuck. Like, she's in there, and she's coming out of, like, your Ann Taylor suits that used to have.
Right. Right. Oh my God. Let's tell that story.
I don't know. You tell me that story.
So as part of my trying to make it in New York City, I was a suburban girl. So remember that. I went to Ann Taylor all the time and I bought all my suits there. I also was a big fan of Ann Taylor Loft.
Oh my God.
I sometimes dabbled in Banana Republic.
Oh.
And I think I was probably 9 West for the shoes.
Aldo?
And I thought I looked great. I thought I looked like a very, put together working woman as I was climbing that corporate ladder. And my adorable boyfriend, fiance / husband, I can't remember what stage we were in, one day looked at me and said, I'm going to take every Ann Taylor suit out of your closet and I'm going to put it in the living room in a pile and burn it.
God bless your husband, Doug.
My husband also grew up on the Upper East Side.
Well, that's another good one, too, that kind of shows our differences in personality is maybe we should have switched husbands. No, I'm just kidding. When you were talking about the luxury handbag company, which, you have to get a Birkin or a Kelly, you called it Hermes.
I think I might have called it Hermes.
Hermes.
Yes.
And your husband,
I didn't know what it was.
No, I mean, my husband would be so happy. He'd be like, oh my God, I found the least jappy girl on the Upper East Side. This is great. I'm starting low bar. But your husband was kind of horrified, right?
Yeah. I think he loves that I was a country bumpkin, but he also wants me to be aware.
Interesting. I love that that's awareness. Is like to know how to pronounce Hermes. Like,
we'll get into. There's layers of awareness.
I can't wait. This is you guys are 2 onions in your relationship. I mean, seriously. So I'm the opposite, where my husband, we were dating then also, and I walked by, I guess it's a Mexican restaurant, and I was like, what's Chipotle? And he literally looked at me with I had 4 heads. I was like, what? Chipotle? I'm like, well, how am I supposed to know that? It spelled like Chipotle. He was horrified. He should have run because he knew then I was like a high class kind of broad.
It never gets old. Chipotle.
It's pretty good, right?
So good. The best.
You also never told me what TV characters I would be.
Oh, yeah. We're not moving on until I do that. I think you're like Rachel / Chandler.
Interesting.
And I think you're also really channeling Larry from Curb.
Honestly, that's the best compliment I could ever get.
Or actually, wait for it. You might also be Susie Essman, but like a much
little
more
classier.
Well, classier for sure, but I was going to also say like a prettier, funnier Susie Essman, because she has like an edge to her, kind of like nails on a chalkboard.
She's
you don't
rude.
have that.
What are you fucking Larry? What are you talking about? Where's that fucking sweater?
Very good.
Look how
Where's
easy
that
that
fucking
was
sweater
for
that
you.
I made for you? Gave it to our friend who's blind. Why, Larry? You didn't like it?
Look how, see, I think I just nailed it.
Yeah, you did. Like, could I be any funnier?
So let's move on to stage of life, because I think we're like very yin yang, and I think we should tell our audience why we feel like we're like vibing on a lot of stuff.
Or
like,
why we're even available to do this podcast. Because you had
Yeah, no, let's go there. So I'll admit I became unemployed starting Jan 1 after.
found Eva on the street on 72nd Street.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So, I mean, close. By the way, if you did see me in the morning walking my dog, you could mistake me for a homeless person.
Same with me.
I
I'll
could
go
care
for that.
less. So I had worked my entire adult life and finally risen to being a C-level executive.
Wait, but isn't that not great? Like Kathy Griffin's like a D celeb. Like, don't you want to be like an A level person?
No, C-level is like chief executic officer, chief marketing officer. C-level is like you've arrived, baby.
Wow. I really would not have thought that. Am I alone in this? Like, did everybody else know that?
I mean,
Yeah, okay. I missed okay. Well, I haven't done a lot of corporate shit, but
No, it's actually great because you know what? Like, I feel like I held on so much to my work identity. And so it's so refreshing and kind of liberating to sit with you. And you're like, C-level, that's kind of sucky.
it's not sucky. I just thought it was like, Kathy Griffin had that show, like the D celebs. Like, I thought it was the people who like pay us weekly to take their photo, not the ones hiding from them.
Right. But
I guess you're a big deal. And now you're with me on this couch. So I don't know
Well,
if that means I'm awesome
I don't
or
think
your
I was
life
ever-
went down.
right. I don't think I was ever a big deal, but I will say I'm happy to trade being a C-level executive for maybe one day being an A-list celebrity.
Ooh, girl.
That's a rage call.
Don't tease me. I always want to be famous.
We'll take D-level at this point, right? Like,
No, we're going A level.
all right. But we'd be so lucky to be.
We're going A. We can't
Okay.
be, once you're D, it's like Ann Taylor. It's like, we're not doing that. We're going big or
We're going straight to the top.
Overnight success, baby.
All right, great. I love it. So let's talk about our stages of life.
Okay.
Oh, but wait, we talked about my work career. Like, people want to know about your background.
Oh, yeah. Well, talking about the C levels, I am currently the CEO of the biggest money-losing business in America. It's called My Household. And money just goes out, just flies. I don't know whether it's the paper towels. I mean, my kids use paper towels like they think they're Jeff Bezos. It's unbelievable. It's crazy.
Okay, but I have to say the alternative. I cannot be one of those people who buys the reusable paper towel.
Oh, my husband does that. I can't even tell you. It is
Terrible.
disgusting.
my house.
It is so unsterile.
Yeah.
Every day. But he's like, actually, I think his line was, "We're not the Bezos. Can you please use these reusable paper towels?" And I'm like,
Wait,
sure.
I think if he's worrying about that, like, he's not seeing the, like, forest from the trees. If he's worrying about paper towels, Caroline.
Well, he's also not realizing that I'm cleaning up the dog's piss on our carpet all the time. Like, should I also use that to wipe the kitchen table before he eats?
Right, but I was actually referring to all the other spending
Oh,
categories
yeah.
you could be
That
concerned
was
with.
like a C-level executive thing that went over my head.
Okay.
But also my employees are my children who are very bossy and have, obviously, their issues with money or food. They just like the highest of the high. Everything I cook at home is disgusting, horrible, unedible. It's like it's never, but they'll eat a crumb that fell on a couch.
See,
That's
I'm very
just
lucky
insane.
that way. Doug's mother isn't a chef. And so I have a husband who actually prefers me never to cook. I'm terrible at it.
Well, I don't
but
cook for my husband. I cook for my kids.
right, we
I don't
just
care what he
order
wants.
in or go out because he's always like, "Oh, don't cook, don't trouble yourself."
Well, he means that because your food sucks.
Exactly. And it's also, that's love for him because his mom didn't cook either.
That's lovely. But you also let your kids have McDonald's. So your standards are low. I'm not judging you. I just want a few nights of the week that we're not having, the kids aren't eating pizza and cheese on pizza and
Right.
French fries with ketchup to have some balanced food,
Yeah, pizza's a win in
And
my
they're
house.
like, "Ugh, this is gross." And then my son will be like, "I want to go to the best French restaurant of caviar."
I mean, in my household, pizza's a total win.
Is it?
Carbs, check. Dairy, check. Vegetable, check.
Oh, you know what? Carbs. I don't know. I feel like my kids can get a little bloated, so I try to limit the carbs. Actually, I know we're all over the place, but I think this is a great moment to talk about a few parenting faux pas.
Oh, yes.
That I've done.
I know what you're going to say. You got to tell this one.
Okay, I'm happy to start. So this also, I didn't just tell my son something about his body image because it didn't start with something. He was like, Mom, I saw this ad on your phone for like cellulite cream. And he's like, I think you should use it for your tush.
I love children.
Are you fucking kidding me? I should use it for my tush? How about you stop eating so much challah so your pants can close? I said this to my 8-year-old. You know what's the worst part about it? I didn't feel badly.
Serves him right.
Yeah.
All of us out there who have children can, I think, identify that no one can give it to you like your kids.
By the way, sometimes a parenting faux pas can be great. Like, as a child, I remember I lost my first tooth and I was terrified because it's really weird to think about. Part of your body falls out, right? It's bleeding. And then someone's like, put it under your pillow. Some magical little spirit who looks like Tinkerbell is going to come in, take the tooth, never going to see it again, and give you money. I was like, I am not going to bed. That is fucking terrifying.
Oh my God, I never thought of it that way, but you're right. Why do we persist with this tooth fairy myth?
Fucking weird. Sorry, I have to use that expletive because it's bizarre.
It's okay. I think our producer told us we're already characterized as
explicit.
Oh, good. Yeah. I used to love those CDs that were like, rated.
Wait.
But anyway, guys, you got to hear this part, and then I promise I'll let you talk. So I go to my mom. I can't go to bed. I'm so terrified of the tooth fairy. She's like, Caroline, go to bed. It's your father. To this day, to this day, he's so upset. I brought this up with him a few days ago, and I said, Teddy's like, my son's like, there's no tooth fairy. My dad's like, yes, there is. Like, Mom, remember you told me Dad was a tooth fairy? What are you talking about? I wasn't a tooth fairy. I'm 37. Still trying to fuck with me about the tooth fairy.
Oh my God, I love you, Larry.
Right, but I love that my mom...
Does he want to come over and be the tooth fairy in my household? Because I always
he's probably
drop the ball. It's not even about that, but my kids will be like, Mom, the tooth's been under my pillow for 4 days. You're going to give me $5?
The rule in my house is if you don't believe in the tooth fairy, you don't get cash.
I love that.
Because you should be terrified all night. That's your payment.
Or how about when your kid sleeps in your bed and you're like, do I put the money under my own pillow or do I put it under my kid's pillow where the tooth is?
Yeah, that's true. My kids don't sleep in their bed. That's an excellent point. So let me, you guys, Gelman over there or Eva, tell me, make me feel better as a parent, even though I actually don't feel bad. Tell me your parenting faux pas.
Oh my God. I think I have an embarrassment of riches in this department. All right, let me just throw out a few.
How do you make everything sound like Wuthering Heights? Sounds so good.
I'm going to talk about my middle child who I feel like middle children never get enough attention. So I'm going to give him some love right now.
Hi, Sandy.
So at our school, Fridays ended at noon, and my son did a program called Cavaliers, which was basically they pick him up at noon, they take him away to play sports, and then they drop him home on a school bus. One of my friends said something to me one day, oh, it's so cute. Andrew always shares his sandwich with Sandy and his lunch. And I said, what do you mean? She said, on Fridays, he always shares the lunch I make with your son. And I was like, lunch? So I went home to Sandy and I was like, I don't get it. Why are you eating Andrew's lunch? And he's, Mom, on Fridays, they don't feed us at school. You have to bring your own lunch and you eat it on the bus on the way to Cavaliers. Meanwhile, school starts in September and I probably discovered this in February.
Ooh.
Oh, my poor baby.
But at least your kids' pants aren't tight.
No. I have the opposite, string jeans. Yeah. Although you'd probably intentionally skip that Friday back.
Maybe. We don't have your metabolisms in the Heyman family, all right? The Leventhal's are lacking.
Gelman, we haven't gotten you in yet today. Any parenting faux pas?
Well, it's funny you guys are touching on this because it actually happened last night during bedtime. Ellie, my daughter, who's 7.5, we were in my son Harrison's room. He's 5. And we were all just joking around. We're packing for spring break. And Ellie turns to me and she goes, Mom, it's so annoying. Harrison has 0% body fat. At first I was a little taken aback, but I was like, I know. Yeah, it's annoying, right? And she's like, so annoying. And I was like, not like us.
But here's the thing. Why are men usually the ones that can eat whatever they want?
I don't know. I was talking about this with Ellie. Honestly, we were like, he eats whatever he wants and he looks like that. And we are the eaters in the family and we have a little tush. And we were like really commiserating on it, me and my 7-year-old.
But you have a really tight tush from all that, Tracy.
Harrison thinks it's a little jiggly, but thank you. I appreciate
Well,
that.
maybe I can lend you some of my cream that Teddy's going to buy.
Love it. Thank you.
So I think we should, pause there. We should have another fortune cookie moment. Like,
Okay.
we have plenty more faux pas to share, but stay tuned.
Speak for yourself. I'm just kidding. I have a lot. But you know what? And then I'll end this too, is what's scary is like, I know they're a faux pas, but I'm kind of cool with it.
By the way, this is something where you and I completely agree. I feel like all this gentle parenting, all this, I've heard helicopter parenting, snowplow parenting. I actually think the best parenting strategy is benign neglect. And I can give a shout out to my parents because they were like king and queen of benign neglect, but it works.
Eva, I'm so sorry that upset you. I was like, fucking do this. Like, I can't handle when parents are like, should we talk about it?
Right.
Do you want to tell me, how was your day? I'm not going to lie, Gelman does that. And I'll look at Gelman's husband, he'll be like, oh, I'm like, Jason. It's like, it's like 20 minutes. It's like, they can't leave my house without 14 more lollipops.
But I do argue with Jason in front of the kids, which I'm happy to do.
I think that's good. You've got to model real life.
Yeah. So I will be like, so sorry you're upset. But I'm also like, fuck you, Jason!
Right. It's good to see mommy
See?
and daddy
I'm
fight.
mad at your dad right now.
That was such a good impression of yourself. But you know what's the important thing? Do you make up in front of them?
Of course.
Okay,
But all of it. That's what I'm saying.
I think it's so important. If
Yeah.
you don't fight, first of all, you're in a real relationship because who the fuck doesn't fight? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Second of all, then if you don't fight and then make up, like your kids will have relationships and when they fight, they'll be like, oh, my parents never fought. So like, this is not normal. They don't know what normal is.
So where does that leave us? Do you think we've left the audience knowing enough about us to be invested, to stick with us to the next episode, but also excited because we haven't revealed everything where we're like, we're done, we're out of content, nothing left to say?
I mean, if I had just listened to this podcast, I would be like, I want to be friends with these women. These women are fucking nuts, but amazing and funny and real. So yeah, I think they're like ready for more. Yeah. But also, guys, tell us what you want to hear. I mean, we have full discretion to be like, no, or that's so boring, or
I suspect we're game for every topic. Like one of the
is
things
there
we
anything
also
off limits for you?
nothing. And one of the things we also talked about is I have just been diagnosed as like menopause. It's a day, and my doctor said today's the day.
So today is the day?
No, it was a few weeks ago.
Oh, it's a day?
It's
we
a
should
day.
have had a birthday for that.
Oh,
Happy
that's
birthday,
interesting.
menopause.
I might go back
Burn
and
tampons and be like, bye.
well, actually, you're not diagnosed.
Tampon fairy could have
You
come.
don't become.
Oh my God. A tampon fairy. And maybe you could get a present from Hermes.
Oh my
Under
God!
your
By the
pillow.
way, every woman in menopause deserves
Under your
gift.
pillow with a fan and like a million things.
Every woman in menopause deserves to treat themselves to a fancy gift. But in all seriousness,
Courtney.
we're going to do an episode on that because
We
you're
must.
not there yet. You're in
Yes.
menopause. You're
I'm
in
peri. I think I'm
perimenopause.
peri.
And I
I'm pretty
think we
sure.
need to
Oh.
share like the real deal.
Yeah, I'm a little scared. Like, I hated childbirth and that whole experience. I love being a mom.
But
But
would you
I'm a little
rather
scared.
know what's coming?
Yes, I would. But
Okay.
like, I'm terrified.
I get it.
terrified
I'm
of
still
like
terrified.
a dry
Wouldn't you
JJ.
rather know? It's like when someone gave you the pump. Remember when you just had the baby and then someone handed you the pump parts and you're like, what the?
Yeah, that's
I'd
why
rather
we
know.
bonded.
Yeah, this is why we need to do that episode, and it's happening.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to leave you guys hanging with this. We're going to do an episode on menopause,
Yes.
so getting older and staying younger. So even though your
Yes.
vagina might get drier and you stop bleeding,
Yes.
we are going to make you feel sexy, okay?
Yes.
Fuck the Marjan or whatever, Mahjong and the whatever
Fuck
bridge.
the Marjan.
The bridge, the pickleball, the golf. We're going strip pole classes, okay?
Yep, I love it.
We're going
Let's do
full
a live.
throttle.
Let's do like live from Stripple.
I mean, no, seriously, because
A
we're going to find,
post-stripper pole
we're all going to
class
find our inner youth. That is
podcast.
the thing. I think with menopause, and I'm not there yet, but I think if you buy into the
easy
fact,
for you to say.
it's true, but if you buy into the fact that like you're not desirable anymore, technically, because you're not, no, seriously, you're not fertile. That's
Channel that 19-year-old colon.
The front may be getting rusty, but the back door's still good.
Oh my God. I'm dead. I think you're getting younger and funnier and sexier. And I've only known you for a year, but you were much hotter than you were last year.
Thank you. I actually think I am too. Actually, that reminds me, this is very off topic, but I dated somebody in New York City when I was single. And
hopefully it was when you were single.
On our second date, he invited me to his apartment and he made dinner. And while we were like sitting around having a drink before dinner, he had a cocktail napkin and he wrote on it, he did like an X and Y axis and he had one curve going from low to high and one curve going from high to low. And then where the point met, he told me that's around 26 years old. And men, their value kept rising after 26 and women's value kept.
I'm so glad you didn't marry this fucking prick. Okay, he's a quant loser.
But I guess what we're trying to say is that is so opposite. Women just keep getting better.
I agree. I think women get to know themselves, getting to know you. And men just like kind of, I don't know, they're just dealing with their hair, losing their hair. And
women get to know themselves.
Yes.
And that's part of feeling
and they're confident.
Being sexy.
I feel like we care less about what other people think.
Well, clearly.
I mean, I never cared that much, but I'm
But no, I agree. You're like, this is who I am. This is what I like. These are who my people are. I mean, I just turned 50, I'm turning 51 in 3 weeks.
You look amazing.
And thank you.
You're welcome.
And I feel like this is my best year yet.
I agree. I'm 37, and I feel like this is going to be my best year. But no, it's just going to get better.
Exactly.
Because we are on that upward trajectory, baby.
Yeah.
And I hope that asshole who told you that at 26 was your peak is listening. And I hope he's bald and fat and still single.
And on that note,
I think Gelman wants us to wrap this up before we get a little cuckoo. So.
Well,
it's dinging. It's time to go.
The gong. Okay, so thanks for listening. And as always, if you liked what you heard, please like us, follow us, rate us, and slide into our DMs and tell us what you want to hear more of.
Yep. Yes. Mic drop, baby. Mic drop.
Thanks for listening to Mic'd and Medicated. We hope you loved listening to us.
But even if you didn't, we have zero shame. So still subscribe to our podcast, leave a comment, and a 5-star review.
And follow us on Instagram and slide into our DMs because they are wide open.
This show was created in New York City and hosted and produced by
Eva Heyman
and Caroline Leventhal. And mic drop.